Starting the podcast off on a positive note.
Oh my god, look at its claws.
That's a Texan woman right there. Basically, any time that... yeah, no way to really fake that.
How do you miss that?
That went exactly how it was supposed to go. Love will make you do crazy things, you know. The Evan Era Podcast.
Gotta do it again, right now.
What's good? Welcome back to episode 3 of the Evan Era Podcast. I'm your host, Evan Era, here with my producer, Eric, off screen, and the lovely Megan. You've seen her in the videos. Also our social media manager. Thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to be back. It's been like a year plus since episode 2. So thank you guys for tuning in to episode 3 of the podcast. We're hopefully going to be doing one of these every week. And it's going to be dropping on what day? Or Friday, hopefully? Should be. So doing this every Friday. So expect new podcast every Friday on the channel. And if you're new, be sure to subscribe here on YouTube. Or whatever platform you're on. So in big news across the world, I'm sure everyone has heard about the Titanic Titan OceanGate submersible that went missing, and then come to find out that everyone on board perished. And I first want to say respectfully, rest in peace to everybody who died on that voyage. And I hope their families, can find peace. Did just hear an update that apparently they did not, just instantly perish as we thought before.
Really?
Yeah. What did the article say? That when the electrical system failed, I think it was 6,500 feet or something like that. When they lost contact with the ship above, everything would have gone dark in the sub, and then it would have started to plummet because the electrical system supported the flotation, where it controlled its descent into the ocean, to where when that system failed, it basically started to plummet to the ocean floor. So for I think around a minute, they were just in total darkness, and it also would have gone nose down, is what I heard.
Oh my gosh.
Where everyone would have been crammed at the bottom and then just plummeting for a minute straight until I can't remember what depth. It a few thousand feet later, because of the speed of the pressure change.
Yeah.
That's what caused it to explode or implode, I guess. So they definitely knew in those last moments, which is terrifying because it would have been a lot nicer to believe that they just
instantly
just went. Yeah.
Do you know how fast it was going when it was going down, or no?
I think
really
terminal
fast?
velocity.
I know when the Titanic sank, it hit the ground at 45 miles an hour. So I don't know. Granted, it was a lot bigger, but still, it's a heavy object just darting down through the water.
In the dark ocean?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They said there was the light of
I
the
think
monitors.
that might be a new
Oh, the
fear.
monitors would have still been on. Still, though. Yeah, that's terrifying.
So they knew. Because before we thought they didn't know?
Before it just seemed like it would have been... It happens in milliseconds when the implosion happens. Gotcha. But they would have known that there's been a catastrophic failure now, and we're probably going to die in the next,
That's
minute.
So
it's pretty awful. Starting the podcast off on a positive note. So we're gonna transition from that little ray of sunshine to a fun little segment. Megan let slip to us that she is, would you say terrified of possums?
Yeah, I would say it's a mix of a fear as well as
just grossed out by them.
Disgusted by them.
Okay.
I don't think there's a more disgusting animal on this earth. And then it's turned into a fear. Because I'm from Colorado, and I'm sure they have possums there. I don't really know, but I never saw a possum till I came here to Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is that? And it was on the road, and it just looks like a massive rat with a big tail. And I already, I don't mind animals, but I'm not an animal lover, to say the least. But, yeah, so then this new fear was unlocked when I moved here, and they're everywhere. And
it's very cool. So we've assembled some clips from the internet to show you. I think it'd be entertaining to get your reaction to some of these possum clips. Some you might be grossed out by. Some you might be like, "Whoa, they're actually kind of cool."
Yeah, that's pushing it.
We'll
Try.
see. We'll see. So the
Keep an
first
open
one
mind.
up, I think, is the pet possum. So this is somebody who has
so
gotten a possum as a pet.
But in your house?
Oh yeah, tell me what you think.
Ew. Oh my god, look at its claws.
See, I mean, it's loving.
Ew,
You know?
look at its teeth. She just call it Benny?
Remy, I think.
Remy?
Uh-huh.
Ew.
You love your daddy.
You guys. That is disgusting. Look at its hands on his head.
He's going hard.
No offense, but this would never happen in the West Coast. Like,
This is a country
definitely country.
This is a southern thing.
He's gonna rip it off my head.
Ew, and it's so fat.
It does seem like it's
No.
well fed in that house.
Oh my god.
Remy's living well.
And not
So, yeah.
having a name.
I mean,
What? How does that even happen though? You think you just like
I
see a
think
possum on the side of the road?
I think you'd be surprised how many people like possums.
Yeah, your mom being one of them.
Yeah, which leads us to our next clip, is the Possum
No.
Queen, which my mother is a huge fan of possums.
Oh my gosh.
But this lady might be the real Possum Queen, I'm not sure.
Shut the fuck up. I know she's not carrying it around the bar. Ah!
Saturday night, Jessica White found the large possum inside the Bonita Creek Hall just before closing.
Ew, look at its tail. Oh my god. It's gonna make me want to vomit.
She's
Feeling
just a
queasy.
patron at the bar, she didn't even work there.
Possum Queen won't have to pay for drinks for a while after her heroic act.
Oh, and she's like just walking around everywhere with it.
Which I feel like was a little intentional to show off. But yeah, she walks it right out the front door.
No way.
Possums are scary.
Could never be me.
That's
Nope.
a Texan woman right there.
Texan.
hmm
Yeah, could never. That would
I
never.
think that's exclusively Southern.
Yeah. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life.
Like, would any of your friends in Colorado be capable of?
Hell no.
No.
No way. No way.
Hmm.
Like, we're the type of, I mean, maybe we're a little prissy, but like spiders, bugs.
I
But like,
understand.
even my friends who go hunting and stuff in Colorado, like, I could
They
never see
wouldn't
them
pick up a
just
possum
like,
by its tail.
no.
Because I have to point out, like, not only is it pretty brazen and like brave to like pick up the possum, but like grabbing it by the tail demonstrates like a real knowledge of possums because they have a prehensile tail that they hang from, like even as babies.
They hang
so-
from their tails?
Yeah, so it doesn't hurt them at all to like pick them up from the tail. It's actually one of the
Ew.
safest
Best
ways to
way. It's
handle
better
them, yeah.
than like grabbing an animal
So
out of
they're
scruff
mixed,
or something.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's so disgusting.
That's a country girl. It's a
Yeah.
real country girl.
Yeah, even my friends here now that from college would never.
Yeah.
They would probably pick it up like a dog and like
Type of
pet
girl
it.
take home to
Yeah,
stepmama.
like-
You know what I'm saying?
On the,
This is the best one. I think you're really
Ugh.
going to appreciate this one. This is actually an Australian possum. So there's possums all over the world, but this one is actually an Australian possum, which
What?
I think the Australian version.
Is so much cuter.
Yeah.
Right?
I still don't love it because it looks like a rodent kind of little animal.
Is that your
But it's
problem with
cute.
that?
that's it. You're marsupialist. You're anti-rodent.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of cute eating French fries, but
I think that's probably the cutest possum you're ever going to see.
ugh,
So,
that first one I kind of was the worst. I think.
are
As a
you
pet.
changed after seeing that possum content?
No,
No.
I'll still scream.
Okay.
I'll still probably almost throw up.
Bring in
Like-
the possum.
Okay, yeah.
No,
From Louisville Zoo, we'd like to welcome.
no.
Uh,
Seriously, because if I'm like eating and like let's say I'm eating and like one time I was eating in the car with one of my friends down at school and this possum just like walks in front of the car. When I tell you I was like dry heaving outside of the car like about to throw up because it was just so disgusting. Like you guys don't have like an animal like that? Like snakes, spiders?
No, I grew up on a wildlife refuge, so no animals like really gross
Yeah,
me
that
out
would make
anyway.
sense. I know, I'll never forget when I went to your mom's house and she's like, look at my possums I rescued and brought back to life. And she's like, look how cute. And they're eating spaghetti. I'm like, I'm about to throw. And I was trying to be so nice. But I was just like, I can't. But that would probably be your mom, to have it crawling around the house and it petting.
That was my house as a kid.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't to that level. But yeah, there were so many possums and raccoons.
That's insane.
You wouldn't believe it.
It's crazy.
So, little update for fans of the How To Magic show. I'm sure there's a lot of you here watching this podcast. So, been a real lack of How To Magic episodes on the channel. We can acknowledge that. The long form content just doesn't really perform the way it used to. Shorts are where it's at now. I'm sure you guys have seen all of the YouTube shorts coming out on the channel. But we are trying to do one long form How To Magic episode per month. It's a lot of work goes into these things. So expect one How To Magic episode monthly here on YouTube. Multiple shorts every day, as you know. I just did an appearance on a TV show, but I'm not really sure I can talk about it because of the SAG strike going on right now. We're not supposed to promote any TV show or movie appearance stuff whatsoever. So I'm going to be on a show on November 9th. But I'm not really going to tell you what it is yet until the SAG-AFTRA strike is over. As I do stand in solidarity with the actors and the writers, and I think they deserve a better deal. Which leads me to, I've been doing some acting. I'm doing all the auditions I can. Nothing's auditioning right now, which kind of sucks because of the strike. We were in the middle of a really good audition when the strike happened, and the whole movie just got thrown out by the studio. So it's a real bummer, and I hope the networks, these struck companies, can kind of come to their senses and take care of the people who create this content.
Because if they shut down like all production?
Yeah, I mean pretty much, unless it's an independent production. I saw someone's movie is still shooting because it's not like a studio picture, so there are some things that are still produced. Commercials are still shooting.
Non-union, and I don't know if, because a lot of it's the American Union. There's some European unions that are still working if you're, working not on American soil.
Mm-hmm.
You think this is going to change the future of entertainment?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, a strike like this hasn't happened in, 60 years?
62, 63 years.
Yeah.
For the writers and the actors to come together and completely shut down the system. Yeah. As an aspiring actor myself, I was in SAG years ago, probably 13 years ago now? 12, 13, yeah.
But I'm not in it now. I will eventually rejoin. I see the value that writers and actors bring to the table. There is no content without them. So the services, the streaming services, will eventually cave. It's just a matter of time, I think. Hopefully you'll see me on TV screen and the movie screens in addition to your phone and computer screens here soon. And I'll promote those things once this strike is over. So our next segment is called Breaking KFAB. So as a former independent pro wrestler myself, if you guys didn't know, I used to be a pro wrestler before my Magic days. I have a unique appreciation for when things go wrong in the ring. So this segment is all just wrestlers getting fucked up.
Oh, that's another thing that makes me scream.
Oh, really?
I just don't really like if I see people getting hurt.
We don't really do like broken bones, things like that.
Yeah,
I'm not into that. I'm not really into.
When did you do pro wrestling? I know you touched on it, you mentioned it, but I didn't really know it was the thing.
Before I was of legal age to wrestle in the state of Kentucky. The state of Kentucky has a wrestling board, like a commission that oversees everything. I was 16 or 17 years old when I started wrestling. I was trained by a guy named J.C. Bailey. and a couple others. Tracy Smothers helped train me. Different people here and there. Aaron Wilson, Joy Puckett. Name a few people who were kind of early mentors in my wrestling days here. I would travel to Indiana, which didn't have a wrestling board, so you could wrestle there at any age, and I would do shows up there. Yeah.
I didn't know there's an age limit.
Oh yeah.
So what goes into pro wrestling? Like, I mean, I've seen like WWE stuff on like social media here and there.
Yeah, it really is an art. And
I didn't realize, because is all that fake?
It's choreographed.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't call it fake. There's really no way to fake some of these things. Like falling on, even a canvas that's padded to some degree still hurts. You're still you're still falling on something. So I wouldn't call it fake, but it's certainly choreographed.
Much of what you will see, they will not be landing on padding.
Yeah, the whole idea of the segment is this is when spots in the match have gone wrong. So a spot would be any kind of move or setup or stunt that the two wrestlers in the match are going to do. That's obviously agreed upon beforehand and talked about what we're going to do, but then it goes terribly wrong somehow. And breaking kayfabe is essentially what I just did and told you that wrestling is fake or it's choreographed.
Okay.
So kayfabe is the agreement among the wrestlers or the workers that we're not going to reveal to the audience that this is in any way choreographed because we want them to believe it's real. So without further ado, let's bring up our first clip here for breaking kayfabe. All right, a couple tag team wrestlers here, and so that is not really a blown spot. That is more of what we call a shoot, where something happened prior to this match or during this match. This could have been a receipt for something, a shoot is basically any time that a wrestling match turns real and turns into a real fight, basically. Something is done from one wrestler to another to intentionally hurt the other guy.
His neck?
I don't know. Do we have a verdict on? Did we ever find out?
He was fine.
He was fine?
He was fine. Yeah, he walked away.
All right.
He just got the wind knocked out
He's
of
fine.
him? Oh.
He just got the wind knocked
Fine.
out of him.
Just a Charlie horse.
Just a Charlie horse.
This is a good
I
one.
feel like this when you get on
So
the
that
deep dark
was actually like
YouTube.
that was a retaliation for something. I think like they didn't plan. Like that guy wouldn't like drop me on my head.
Right.
That was
That was retaliation.
That was a retaliation.
That was
for
also
something.
a bit higher league professional than the next clip.
What is this one?
This is a table.
Are any of these videos you?
Oh,
This
yeah.
is-
No.
No. This is.
I might throw me in some future breaking kayfabe
Throw
clips
in
if you
some-
guys want it. If you want to see some clips of me wrestling, let me know.
So this man is gonna take a leap from the structure of a building onto a table.
What is fun about this?
Well,
Right,
it draws
you can
in
see.
crowds.
As you can see, this is like a gym or a warehouse of some kind.
So I wrestled in a lot of places like this.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh!
Now you see he missed the table completely.
I'm
And
sorry, how do you miss that?
And he just went straight to the concrete floor there.
Probably broke his arm.
Interestingly not. Apparently this guy walked away totally fine.
Like we had a
What is
bruised
fun
hip.
about that? Is
Yeah.
it like the thrill?
What is fun
the
about it?
Adrenaline? Like, what is fun about
Like for the guy jumping?
just all this in general? Like, I would just never be like, let me just choreograph throwing my body at someone and
I mean,
let me jump off stuff onto a table just for fun. But like,
Well, some of it's for a paycheck. Some of it's for the glory of
the crowd.
the crowd. You got a couple hundred people in the audience maybe on a good night.
the pain though.
The energy of the crowd can be very energizing and exciting.
This reminds me of at my high school we did a Make-A-Wish week, or Wish Week is what we call it. It's a huge thing.
That
at my
reminds
high
you of
school.
Make-A-Wish?
Well, listen to this. No. That's not what I meant. But I'm saying one of the kids that we had, so we basically had Wish Week, and the kid would like have a wish, and he
Yeah.
wanted to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
And so his Make-A-Wish was to be a pro wrestler, and they brought people like that, like a whole ring and everything,
awesome.
and did
Very cool.
wrestling like that. But it was
That's
just
awesome.
yeah, they were doing crazy shit like that, like jumping off
Yeah.
everything and onto each other, and
Did they like bring the kid in the ring to like do?
Yeah,
like,
and
a
he was
mock
like the
wrestling match?
winner. Yeah, but
Did
he didn't
they
like actually
pick him up and drop him on his head
No,
like that?
no.
That's good.
No.
That's good.
It's way more positive.
Yeah.
But it's just especially in a warehouse like.
Yeah. A
One
lot
thing
of
if
them
you're
are
on the
in
big
like
screen.
a VFW hall or like
What's a VFW?
Veterans of Foreign Wars.
What is that?
There's one in every town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the VFW. But yeah, wrestled in a lot of VFWs, a lot of county fairground type buildings. You know, old churches, abandoned gyms, things like that.
Huh.
Horton, Indiana.
Where's that?
North Vernon, towns like that. Shout out to North Vernon. Anybody from North Vernon? Probably not. I doubt they have internet connection. I'm just teasing. Anyway, breaking kayfabe, on to our next clip. What do we got?
This is going to be ladders and chairs.
Okay, I think this is from...
also professional...
This is from a professional outlet. This is kind of like WWE. It's called AEW, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, this is an
So this is an AEW clip. This is a tables, ladders, and chairs match. So you can see this guy ascend a ladder here, and then he's going to jump off. See, there's a bunch of chairs set up down there. Onto all those steel folding chairs that are there. And you can see he really kind of landed just
wrong,
right on top of the backs of the chairs.
So how do you, like, not plan that?
I'm not sure. Well...
See, that can be organized, but there's no faking that.
Yeah, I mean, you can plan it. Like, here's what we're going to do. But the outcome... you can sometimes have a hard time controlling. You can see he kind of...
But, like, what was the plan?
That was the plan.
That was perfectly executed, actually.
Oh,
just,
so you just are like, okay, I'm just going to take it and just take it
Well,
out.
the way that spot is supposed to go, like, you're supposed to land more on the seats of the chairs, and they kind of buckle in, to where they kind of take some of the fall, similar to how a table does in a wrestling match, but... I think he was a little bit off in the placement, so he landed more on the backs of the chairs, which is pretty cool.
And now you're thinking like, oh, well, he's a young man, all that.
He could take it.
He can take it.
This guy is, what, 60?
62. He is a legend, the man with the...
The man jumping off the ladder?
Yeah, actually, the young man is there.
He's
See the guy with the
guy with the painted
face paint on?
His name's Sting.
Yeah.
Legend in the wrestling world.
So you got Sting here,
He's
ascending
60.
this ladder. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
60 years, 62 maybe?
I believe, yeah.
No way.
So he's going to attempt to jump off this ladder here onto this guy on a table.
His mouth.
Yeah, he kind of hit his face right on his knees.
Like, he
it
probably
looks
busted
like.
his teeth.
Yeah, that's the
Chance.
risk you take, No guts, no glory.
Is there, like, more risk and pain than reward in this, I feel like?
It
Or
depends.
is this very rare?
I mean, it depends. No, it's not rare. This is commonplace. It just depends on what level you're at in the game. People who are in the WWE and even at this level in AEW, like, they're making a pretty good paycheck every night to do this stuff. But I think that brings us to our next clip. Some of the more independent organizations.
Did you want to go to that clip of
JC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll use a couple as palate cleansers after.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just gonna finish.
So this next one is an independent outfit called IWA Mid-South. They're around here, and this is one of the guys who actually trained me to wrestle. I will point out he was a little bit insane, rest in peace, to JC Bailey, but he was a hell of a worker, hell of a wrestler, and great guy.
Why do you say he was insane?
The matches he would participate in were just the highest level of hardcore craziness you could possibly imagine. So in this match, they have taken barbed wire and they have strung it across the top of the ring. And then there's a scaffolding next to the ring. He's wrestling a guy named Madman Pondo here. So they're up on this scaffolding. And you'll see just here, just JC's in the red pants. And you'll see them now fall right just into a bed of barbed wire that is just strung across the top of the ring.
What?
So they're now just kind of trapped.
What the fuck? So do they go to the hospital after this?
Most cases probably not.
Was it supposed to?
Yeah, that went exactly how it was supposed to go, for sure.
So this is just for a reaction, you think? Like, is that why he would want to do that? From the audience? Or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely for the accolades, you know, for the respect.
Yeah.
Goes to a next level here. In the next...
Gets worse than that?
Yeah. So...
And he trained you?
That was only from like the second level of the scaffolding. When I first met this man, this is a fun story. In Bedford, Kentucky, which is not far from here, it's a much more country area. I met him outside of his dad's wrestling venue or company. They were like renting like the Bedford Civic Center or some shit. Bad to the Bone Wrestling set up there. I meet this kid, and he's like, "Can you take a bump?" Which is like wrestling code for like, can you like fall and like not get hurt, like do a fake fall.
Gotcha.
I was like, "Yeah, I can take a bump." I'm like 15 or 16 at this point, and he's like, "Go ahead and take one." We're standing outside like on the concrete sidewalk, and I'm like, "Oh, I thought you meant like in the ring." And he was like, "No, right here." And I was like, I'd rather not. And he just, from like standing still, like does a full front flip and just lands on his back, like on the concrete. And he's like, "What's the problem?"
Completely fine?
Yeah, totally fine. Yeah, totally fine. Just pops right out. And I was just like, okay, maybe I'm not ready for this. But he still trained me, despite me not wanting to fall on the concrete. But that was just kind of an illustration of like who he was as a person.
Yeah.
So this next clip is the same match with Madman Pondo and IWA Mid-South, but they've now ascended to the very top of the scaffolding.
So they did this again?
Yeah, this is the same match, just after they've freed themselves from the barbed wire. This is minutes later. They've now climbed back up there, and JC is now going to get suplexed off the very top of the scaffold.
Suplexes.
Not the announcer.
Is truly.
Is he knocked
just
out?
Speechless. No, they're both still conscious.
So is he actually still, like, is he actually in pain?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fake barbed wire.
Yeah, it's real barbed wire.
I'm just like, I just cannot comprehend.
He's
why
definitely
selling
selling it to some degree. You know, that's the whole writhing in pain and like selling it a little bit. Like, probably didn't have to
work very hard to.
Reminds me of that show Fear Factor.
But I can't like overstate how much that must have hurt.
Yeah.
But you know, they both walked away with minor injuries. So
And a payday. You want to talk about the payday for that?
I don't have a confirmed number. I hadn't spoke to JC in many years, you know, before his passing. But I heard that they each got $100 each for that match.
For doing that?
Yeah.
Like, what is that, 2 times? More than that? How many times did they jump into the barbed wire?
Multiple.
That was just the 2 best ones, I think.
$100?
Yeah.
100 big ones.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dedication. When was this?
Oh, this was probably 10 years ago. JC's been gone for a while, but yeah, that's just a cool example of like you've got kind of the higher end stuff like WWE and AEW, and then you've got promotions like that you know cater to a different audience.
There's a big community that's like into that.
You'd be surprised. Independent pro wrestling is a big thing. Yeah.
Huh.
But don't think that you're going to be left out because we haven't shown you women.
Girls can do things too.
Girls can do things
Oh, I
too.
thought you were going to say, it's your turn. I'm like, hell no.
Well, you know.
This is a cool one.
This is a good one here.
Looks like a bingo hall.
So this young lady is getting a power bomb from the apron to the floor just like that. Through like a makeshift table.
Yeah.
It's not really a table per se.
A real table. It's just kind of.
It's kind of a couple
Was
pieces
that a guy
of wood.
just chucking her
Yep.
off the...
That was just a man
100% what that was.
picking her up and
front of
throwing what I
children.
assume is a mother onto a parquet floor, like a basketball gym.
maybe
again, this could be a VFW or like a civic center.
Yep.
What?
So, similar payday for a match like that, probably about $100, $200 if you're lucky.
That one wasn't as bad, but still, that's not.
I follow her on
Wasn't.
Instagram. She's doing well.
Really?
Yeah, doing good.
Oh,
Huh.
technical. But see, we were raised with it, and there's some iconic clips that also.
Like, this is just what you guys did for fun?
We definitely did some backyard wrestling. Yeah, that's kind of how it started for me, and then I transitioned into actually wrestling for a promotion similar to, what you're seeing here. Yeah.
We need to do a segment where we watch you. Do you have videos?
Yeah, I do. I do have some old footage that maybe we'll throw that in next week.
Some I filmed.
Stay tuned.
Or old,
there,
go back.
watching it live.
Still behind the camera.
Yeah.
You did like shit like that, like jumping onto your head and stuff, or not onto your head, but like jumping off
Flaming
things?
tables.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff like that.
Off buildings. I remember. Yeah.
So how did you get into magic then? It's so different.
A man of many passions.
That's crazy.
Magic and pro wrestling do have like some strange parallels to each other, actually. In that you're presenting something to the audience that isn't really real per se. That you're doing a lot of work behind the scenes to create this illusion of like a real fight between two people, or whatever the thing and the trick happening is, and the audience doesn't see all this stuff behind the scenes. So there is this kind of the same like secretive like element to it. So there is kind of some ties that bind them. Next clip is...
This is our final. This is the anniversary clips of Hell in a Cell.
Oh, so this is WWE, actually. This is Mick Foley and Mark Calloway, The Undertaker. 20 years ago, or is the 20th anniversary of it, maybe?
What? We need to replay that.
So this is Mick Foley getting thrown off. This is like two guys having a match inside of like a giant cage.
Yeah,
And they're on the top of it, and Mankind gets thrown off of the cage onto like the announcer's table at the ringside.
Is that supposed to happen, or?
Yeah, it's a planned thing. But apparently they didn't like tell the announcers or anything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What's your reaction to that?
Terrible. I just don't understand, like, I just can't wrap my mind around that people just like enjoy this.
Like enjoy watching it?
Yeah,
and that's him
and
getting
enjoy
like,
doing
slammed into the
it,
ring.
and just like
And then he's like lost.
that's him.
Yeah, that's him now.
Oh,
You see, he gets choke slammed into the ring there, and it breaks through, and he like lands.
and like
the
these are
chair,
real
like, came with it.
chairs and stuff.
Yeah, and the chair like hit him in the mouth on his way down.
Do you think some of these?
Knocked his
He
tooth
doesn't
out.
have, yeah, I was gonna say he doesn't have a tooth.
Very cool.
I was gonna ask if there was permanent damage for some of these.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely. Depending on
crazy.
how hardcore they
Not
go.
the announcers. I would
Yeah.
hate to be that person.
Yeah, so that's the segment Breaking Kayfabe. That's what you can expect. Cool content like that. So that leads us to our next segment, which is kind of a similar vibe. So this next segment is called Stuntman Got Work. So it's a series where we highlight some of the moments in TV and film where stuntmen and women got work. Often when actors have to do dangerous things in film or a TV show, the studio will hire a stunt person who looks similar to the actor to do the dangerous stunt on film, so that the actor can stay safe. And in the days now we can just CGI everything. We really appreciate the people who put their bodies on the line to give us quality entertainment of someone appearing to get hurt or some death-defying feat. So this is to honor the brave men and women of the stunt community. We've assembled some great clips here from around the internet to show Megan here, and I'm interested to see your reaction to some of these. So you are familiar with stunt people, right?
Yeah.
Actors aren't actually doing stunts in movies.
But I'm not like you guys. I don't do deep research on the behind-the-scenes stuff. I see it in the movies.
Megan does not watch a lot of movies, so it's going to be interesting to get her.
An alarmingly small amount of.
It's going to be interesting to get your take on some of these. What is the first one?
We're going to do the stairs of
Fight Club?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this is an iconic kind of stunt scene known by the stunt community or anyone who follows kind of stunt work. Who is the director of this, Eric? Do you know?
I believe it's David Fincher.
So director will have like the stunt person, do the stunt. They'll film it from whatever different angles they want to.
Yeah.
And they might have them do multiple takes of it. So this is a scene where the character is in a bathrobe, so there's really not a lot of like room to hide pads and stuff. Like a lot of time they'd wear elbow pads or pads on their back.
Gotcha.
But for this, the guy's wearing a bathrobe and he's getting thrown down like a set of concrete stairs in a parking garage.
Oh gosh.
So this is the scene here. It's pretty brutal. Yeah, wow.
Oh my god.
So the fun thing about this from the movie Fight Club, which I assume you haven't seen?
No.
It's such a good movie. Travesty that you haven't seen that. But the fun thing about that is that was, how many takes did you make him do?
I believe 6.
6 takes of it,
Mm-hmm.
and he used the first one.
No way.
Yeah. So that's kind of the lore around that.
Yeah.
So you just
On the
have
commentary, they talk about how he did it, and because every other time he was apprehensive because he knew how much it would hurt after that first one.
Right.
The first one, he was kind of fearless because it was the first time he'd done it. Every time after,
So
he
you
was
just
like,
how do you teach yourself that? Just tuck and roll?
Good question.
we actually have a clip of a young man's practicing his falls.
How do you
Yeah.
I feel like there's no
So, like anything else, you practice falling. So that leads us to our next clip here. This is a young stunt performer who's just demonstrating how he practices falling, for getting shot in a scene.
wow. God, that looks so real.
Right?
But at the same gosh, he's really good.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Impressive, right?
Reminds me of parkour.
A little bit, yeah.
Sacrificing your body.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That looks so real. That's insane.
I think the dust also helps sell it a
Yeah.
lot,
But the fact that he can move his body like that.
Very impressive. The king of stunt work, Jackie Chan. Can't say enough about him. Really need to pull clips from the Jackie Chan stunt team video. We'll have that next week in the Stuntman Got Work segment. Jackie Chan, if you know who Jackie Chan is, Rush Hour is probably his most popular movie here. I think there's a Rush Hour 4 coming too. So this is a clip of him kind of watching some of his most iconic stunts in movies. Some actors do their own stunts. Tom Cruise, Louisville, Kentucky, born and raised. There are some actors who do their own stunts, and this is highlighting Jackie Chan. I think it's him watching all of his old stunt videos, clips from his movies with his daughter. It's kind of a nice touching segment here. Also kind of showcases all of the crazy stuff he's done.
He's gotten hurt many times. I believe he's broken nearly every bone in his body.
Yeah.
I'm
Skull.
sure he does all of his own stunts.
Yeah, everything.
That's
He actually has
crazy.
a whole team of stuntmen that he employs. See, I don't know if this was for some kind of award show in China or something, but it's kind of just a compilation of all his clips, and that's his daughter there.
I'm oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Oh,
No pads there.
yeah, no way to really fake that. Harps back to the Mick Foley thing. Weren't his kids in the audience for that?
Yeah, his wife and kids were in the audience to see him get thrown through the...
Yeah, and it
Metal
cuts back
cage
to
and
them in
everything.
the crowd crying at one point, and it's just okay, this just got a little bit real.
Kids are young, they know what their dad does, but at the same time, they don't understand.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
that is just seeing somebody abuse their body because
I know.
there's not much they can do.
Surprised he hasn't broken more bones.
Oh, I mean...
Almost everyone.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I'm sure you haven't seen it, but at least you know who John Wick is.
Yes, I think I've seen maybe 1 or 2 of them.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I'm not really sure.
Here's the behind the scenes.
Yes, I've seen this before on TikTok. That's crazy. I think I saw it from like a different angle or something, but.
Right here. Not a dummy, just a person being thrown.
I never really thought about that. Like, I've watched, when I watch movies and see this stuff, I've never really thought, like,
realize there's a real
that's
person.
someone, like, actually doing that.
Yeah.
That was his day at work.
Not always is it a real person, so we kind of like to celebrate when it is a real person.
Absolutely.
Because stunt work is, something that used to be much more prevalent in film, but now, as I was saying in the beginning of the segment, a lot of time you can just CGI it, and you don't actually have to risk anyone's life, which,
Less of a liability.
there's definitely been times where stuntmen have died on set. So that escalator stunt reminded me of this escalator stunt from Police Story. Police Story was one of Jackie Chan's most famous movies. Which is not actually Jackie. This is somebody from his stunt team,
Right.
who just lands on an escalator.
Oh my gosh. And escalators have those, like, the steps are kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
sharp.
it's
and
metal.
everything.
It's not like
Sharp
a
metal.
special escalator with anything.
The guy's wearing a suit, so you want to hope he's wearing knee pads.
Does he train his crew?
Yeah, so next week we'll have some cool clips of them training how they actually do some of these stunts. There's like a whole warehouse where they just train how to do this stuff. It's pretty fascinating.
Because sometimes things don't always go as planned. Like this is, and they keep it in the movie sometimes. Because I believe in this, like, the man's supposed to go on the ground, but the way he hits the wheel, well, you'll see. Kind of, you can see a little stress in some of the other actors as well. Yeah. And then he kind of messes with him just to, like, in movie making, that's also to kind of verify that he's okay.
Oh my gosh. His head almost hit that.
Mm-hmm.
Did he actually kick him?
Oh, most likely.
So just yeets that man into
And his face looks like it hits the
concrete
floor.
floor and a truck tire.
But like
So-
a professional, he stays
Yeah.
down.
Get in character.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, don't blow the shot. So, that is the world of stunt work. Pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes there's also stunt drivers.
Oh yes, forgot the Will
But-
Smith clip.
Yes, because actors can't be trusted to drive fancy cars or do these crazy maneuvers, and sometimes you can catch that. So here's a little.
This is a clip of Will Smith. There you go.
Now, there is a clip going around social media, and it's a hilarious clip that people have slowed down from Bad Boys 2, the movie, and seen that Will Smith's stunt double was driving the car and not Will Smith. It's hilarious, bro, because the dude that's driving it looks nothing like Will Smith. It's an old black man, and it's a hilarious clip, bro. I'm going to play it, and then you guys going to see Will Smith's reaction to this clip going by. Check out this clip from Will Smith and Bad Boys 2.
Oh my.
I didn't think y'all would see that.
So our next segment is called Travel Stories. So as you guys know, I've done quite a bit of traveling. Megan, you've traveled quite a bit, haven't you?
Yeah, around the U.S. for the most part.
I heard a good story recently that there was a guy who carved his name, like etched it into the wall of the Roman Colosseum. Like
Really?
he carved
I think I saw that
him and his
somewhere.
girlfriend's name, I think it was. What are they saying? He's going to get 5 years in prison?
Possibly, yeah. His first name, Ivan Dimitrov.
Ivan Dimitrov.
Yes, he scratched in Ivan plus Haley 23. One of the brick
So,
walls.
kind of like you would carve into a tree.
Yeah.
Like Ivan plus Haley and the year. So you really, you gave them all the evidence they needed. Which leads me to, like, we've been in some iconic places, and I've definitely signed my name on some monuments. I've never etched my name into anything, but I've definitely signed my name in Sharpie
Crazy.
on quite a few different monuments. I'm not sure there's a statute of limitations on that, so I'm probably just going to keep my mouth shut on which ones.
Which one it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But-
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the great wonders of the world have my name on them. When you're there, look for Look for old EvanEra's autograph on there.
Didn't he take a picture? Did that guy take a picture?
Well, he was filmed. Somebody
somebody
walked by,
filmed
filming
him,
him, and kind of caught him in the act, and he smiled. But
oh wow,
yeah, it's a 15,000 euro fine, which is
not as bad as you think.
About 13,000 pounds, and 5 years in prison, or up to
15,000 euro fine. So that's like 20,000.
I think so. Yeah.
And how long in prison?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what he could get.
Wow.
He wrote an apology letter to the
Yeah.
tourism and everything, but a lot of people are saying it's an offense to Italy's culture.
Yeah. Well, love will make you do crazy things, you know.
She ain't gonna wait for him.
Yeah, I don't imagine that. What was her name?
Haley.
Haley. I don't think Haley. Number one was impressed, and I don't think she's gonna be waiting at the end of 5 years. It'd be cool if she was. I kind of doubt it.
One thing is writing it, but like sitting there and having to like carve it in there.
Yeah, carving it is a different level of dedication.
That's crazy.
She won't know I love her if I don't do this. So, you know.
People in 1,000 years can know that.
Yeah.
You know, Ivan
and Haley in the year 2023.
Would y'all do something like that?
Did I? No.
No comment.
But if you went with a girl?
No.
Oh, would I if I were in a place
Yeah.
like that?
Possibly.
Maybe with something that wouldn't hurt it, like a marker. Maybe
Yeah, I would sign it.
Yeah,
like
I might
with
sign it
with a chick. I don't think I would carve my name into it. No. That's a whole different level of.
And that probably took time.
Yeah. Long enough that someone had the time to like whip out their phone and film it.
Yeah.
Well, he was also pretty brazen about it. If you see the video, he's just kind of just whittling and just thinking that it's okay and just kind of smiling, and everybody else is just, what are you doing?
Right next to the visitor center.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my God.
This Italian child can't enjoy their wine watching you deface their monuments.
That's crazy.
Pretty awesome. But yeah, our last segment is called Top 5. We just do a different Top 5 every week. And I'm interested to know what your Top 5 is. So you can weigh in on this week's Top 5 in the comments. Let me know what your Top 5 are. This week's Top 5, we're doing what are your Top 5 greatest athletes of all time. So this can be across any genre of sports. But just what are your top 5 greatest athletes? And not like your favorites, but like who do you put on like the Mount Rushmore of athletes? So I'm going to say, I'm going to save mine because I want to hear yours first. I think I've got mine pretty down pat.
Okay, I watch like some sports.
Okay. But you have to know like the GOATs, like the greatest of all time, right?
Yeah, but
like
I feel like
who
it's
comes
debatable.
to mind when I say
Okay.
like the greatest of all time?
LeBron James.
Okay.
I
You
don't
putting
know if
LeBron
that's-
number 1 or number
Ooh.
5 on your list? Like what order are you going in
Ooh.
here? Because I think it does need to be in like ascending order of like here's number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's across all sports.
Yeah, all sports.
Okay, we'll put him as number 1.
Number 1, LeBron James, greatest of all time.
Trying to think of other
Yeah, it's tough.
athletes.
It's tough.
Like football?
Sport.
You
They
can-
have athletes.
No, I
You
know.
can put a football
I think
player in
my mom
there.
would probably say Patrick Mahomes. So maybe
Patrick
we'll put him
Mahomes,
as
okay. You're going really current.
You're going really current for the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, I don't.
All right.
No, this is your list.
What are you
Number
guys
2.
gonna
Number
pick?
2.
Athletes from 1987? Like,
Nope.
come on.
No.
When the game was played right,
Oh
maybe.
my gosh.
You got number 1, LeBron.
Okay.
I think a lot of people would argue that that's a solid choice. Number 2, you got Patrick Mahomes. So you've covered basketball, football.
I think Simone Biles. Gymnastics.
Okay. Wow.
She's really talented.
I mean, yes, I agree.
Yes.
Number 3.
I'm just trying to think, like, to be honest, I don't really watch sports like
All right.
that.
I feel like you're having a hard time finding
The
5
name of 5
athletes
athletes.
total.
Literally.
What's number 4?
Mm.
Greatest athlete of all time. Number 4 on your list. Putting you on the spot.
Who's the guy that's really good at track?
Really
About
good
to
at track?
offend a lot of people.
Usain Bolt.
Yeah. He's pretty good, right?
Yep. Olympic gold medal winner, multiple time, I believe.
Okay, we'll put him.
Nuggets.
We'll put him on the list.
Interesting factoid about Usain Bolt. When he's like in other countries for the Olympics, running races, his like food of choice is McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Really?
Yeah, because
That would
like
be me.
if you're in like another country, like the food could be, tainted in some way, but
Yeah.
McDonald's like has pretty strict food control over stuff, and those nuggies,
I wonder
they're
what
pretty
he
much
would
same
think of
anywhere you go.
America's.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he'll eat like 30 chicken nuggets as a protein like meal.
That's crazy.
Pretty cool. So who's number 5 on your list? Top 5 athletes of all time. You got number 1 LeBron, number 2 Patrick Mahomes, number 3
I feel like there's
Simone
another
Biles,
basketball player.
number
that's
4.
like
Well, who'd you say number 4? Just now?
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt. Yep, that's a good one. Number 5. Who are you thinking?
Kobe.
Kobe Bryant. That's a solid choice. Putting Kobe in the top 5, I feel like is you can't really argue that.
I feel like
Solid choice. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give you my top 5 right now. Number 1, I think this is hard to dispute. Muhammad Ali.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Greatest athlete. of all
Really?
time. Yeah, 100%.
See, I don't really do too much research on him. Like I know he's
You
big
live
here.
in Louisville, Kentucky.
I know when I see the Muhammad Ali, but I haven't done like extensive research on.
So if you guys didn't know, Muhammad Ali's hometown is Louisville, Kentucky, where we're from. And I would definitely say he's the greatest athlete of all time. And I think a lot of the athletes that you mentioned would probably agree
Really?
that he's the greatest athlete of all time.
Why do you say that he's the greatest?
He said he was the greatest
He made
before
us
anyone.
believe.
He made everyone else believe that he was. Yeah, this is one of those interesting kind of things.
Manifested his own.
Yeah, he manifested his own destiny.
I don't even think I've watched one of his matches before.
I mean, you need to.
He was very skilled as far as the technical abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, number 1 I would have to give to Muhammad Ali. Number 2 on my list, I'm going to go Michael Jordan.
MJ.
Yeah. You can't really argue the legacy
Yeah.
that Michael left. If you grew up in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, really just 80s and 90s, I guess, but early 2000s.
I mean, yeah.
Is he still doing stuff?
I think so. I think he was at that point. I think he played a little baseball, or it was late 90s.
Yeah.
He switched to baseball and then back.
He did Space Jam. Okay? But yeah.
Your guy did Space Jam 2. Okay.
Well, yeah, Michael Jordan have to be number 2 on the list. Number 3, Tiger Woods. I'm going to go Tiger Woods, number 3 spot. Yep.
See, these are sports I did not think of.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, I would agree.
Number 4, I'm going to go Michael Phelps.
That was on my
Swimming.
list too.
That did come up in my head, but
Yep. Number 5, Number 5, greatest athlete of all time. See, I got number 1, Muhammad Ali. Number 2, MJ. Number 3 did Tiger. Number 4, Michael Phelps. Number 5, greatest athlete of all times. I haven't put a football player in there. But I don't.
which I'm shocked because you played
Brady's
football.
on that list.
I did play
Marino.
football, but I don't know that any football player, because it's such a team sport.
Right.
It's you might say a quarterback like Tom Brady, but I don't really feel like Tom Brady is one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Wow.
Yep.
Hard left.
Who?
Almost say Roger Bannister, who broke the 4-minute mile.
4 minute mile, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as human athletes, yeah.
Yeah, human athletes that really broke ground because no one thought it was possible to run a 4-minute mile before Roger Bannister did it. They just thought it was not humanly possible to run a 4-minute mile until he did it, and then in the following year, an additional 20 or 30 people did it. Once he broke through and people realized it was possible. So I would almost say him, but I gotta go known athletes. Let's see, we covered basketball, we covered golf, we covered boxing.
We just
I'm gonna
visited?
go with Ronaldo as my number 5. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good call. Yeah. I don't think anyone would argue that.
Well,
I
Tiger
find it
Woods
interesting that yours
surprised
is much more current
yeah.
athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really get into sports. I mean, I did cheerleading.
No one
So-
even mentioned.
What were you gonna say?
Oh, God.
Who were you gonna say?
Oh, is it? Did you want mine?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I've noticed there's also no overlap. I'll try to keep, because I agree with a lot of lists, so I'm going to say Cassius Clay
Is number one?
is number one.
Who?
You don't know who Cassius Clay is?
No.
Muhammad Ali's original name was Cassius Clay. He changed his name to Muhammad Ali.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, because I agreed with that.
But that would make sense. You're born and
one.
raised here to feel like you need to know that.
There was a guy called Bo Jackson. Back in the 80s, he played professional football and professional basketball. Like, he played for the LA Lakers, I believe, or the LA Knights, and then...
You're picking people from the
80s.
Pick someone current.
Who else you got?
So, Cassius Clay, Bo Jackson... Just as far as athletes, he played multiple sports, Trying not to have overlap, because I would also put, Michael Jordan on the list.
Yeah.
No one from my list?
No. Mike Tyson.
Yeah. I almost put, not Holyfield, but Mayweather on my list just because he is the most accomplished boxer of all time.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call him the greatest athlete of all time.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. What
the greatest boxer of all time, maybe.
Probably, yeah. It's in the conversation.
Yeah. But I agree with Tyson being on the list. Probably greatest athlete.
So,
oh man, I left out a glaring one that you wouldn't really consider athletics, but you cannot argue that this guy has probably one of the greatest physical forms of all time.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There we go, yeah. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Okay.
I knew that was coming.
So who's number 4 on your list?
I thought Tyson was 4.
Tyson's 4, so who's 5? You got Bo Jackson at 2.
Yeah.
You got Cassius at 1.
Cassius at 1, Jackson at 2.
I don't remember what your
I
third
don't
one was.
remember what 3 was either.
That was Mike Tyson.
I thought there was one before that, or maybe I just joked. All right, so Tyson. Nancy Kerrigan.
Wow.
I kind of have to take hers, the Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt,
yeah,
really?
He's on there.
All right. All right.
You can't gatekeep Bolt.
Decent list.
I just feel like as I get older, everyone's getting more talented. Athletes are more insane each year.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So I'm shocked you guys picked a lot of people from your generation. But it makes sense.
Yeah. I think when you got to look at greatest of all time,
I'd say they're the OGs. They're the ones who started
these
it.
are kind of people who really achieved above and beyond. And, those records still hold true today. I think that pretty much wraps us up. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed episode 3 of the EvanEra podcast. Megan, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for producing and running all the cameras. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new, if you made it all the way to the end of this, thanks. Leave us a comment. Let me know your top 5. And tune in next week for another episode of the EvanEra podcast. Peace. See you guys.